This is Brian Johnson and
Angus Young from ACDC, and you're watching.
ACDC and Brian Johnson have been around for ages, it seems. He actually became the lead singer for ACDC in 1980, but the band had been in existence since 1973. Yes, that long. In his career spanning 41 years, Brian must have quite the large bank account. He is probably living like a rock star. We want to know if he still makes money, how much money he has, and what he spends it on. So he went around and found out. Here follows ACDC's lead singer Brian Johnson's net worth, lifestyle, and how he spends his millions. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new videos that we post. Who is Brian Johnson? Brian Francis Johnson was born on the 5th of October 1947 in Dunstan, Gateshead, England. He is a singer and songwriter. In 1984, after the death of Bon Scott, he became the third lead singer of the Australian rock band ACDC. He is the oldest of 4 siblings. His English father, Alan, was a coal miner and sergeant major in the British Army's Durham Light Infantry, who died in 1996. His Italian mother, Esther Nidaluca, was from Fransati. When he was young, Johnson performed in various shows with the Scouts, appeared in a play which aired on television, and joined a local church choir. He also served in the Territorial Army with a parachute regiment. Johnson married his wife Carol in 1968, and they have 2 daughters, Joanne, born in 1968, and Calla, born in 1973. They divorced during the writing of the Razor's Edge album. He is now married to Brenda and lives in Sarasota, Florida. Prior to working with ACDC, Brian was a founding member of the rock band Geordie. Although the band had a few hit singles, Johnson only really experienced mainstream success after joining ACDC in 1980. This proved to be a smart decision for both the band and Johnson, as they released Back in Black shortly after he joined. According to most estimates, Back in Black is the second best-selling album of all time. In September 2009, Johnson was diagnosed with Barrett syndrome, causing ACDC to cancel several shows of their 2010 tour in support of Black Ice. Fortunately, doctors were able to prevent the disease from developing into cancer. On the 9th of July 2014, Johnson was awarded an honorary degree of Doctor of Music by Northumbria University in recognition of his significant contribution to the music industry. He and the rest of the band were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2003. In March 2016, he stepped down from touring on the Rock or Bust World Tour due to hearing problems. He stated in an interview that he had a pretty good run in ACDC and implied that he might not be returning. On the 28th of September 2020, ACDC updated their social media accounts with a short video depicting an illumination of a neon light in the shape of the band's lightning bolt logo. This led to speculation that they were preparing to announce its comeback, possibly as early as this week or next week. The next day, the band's official website was redirected to pwrup.acdc.com and updated with an ACDC online store and a Power Up email sign-up, leading to speculation that Power Up would be the title of the new album. This speculation was also fueled by another teaser video from ACDC simply featuring the hashtag PWRUP, Power Up. On the 30th of September 2020, ACDC officially confirmed the return of Brian Johnson, Phil Rudd, and Cliff Williams to the band. Alongside Angus and Stevie Young reunited the Rock or Bust recording lineup. On the 1st of October 2020, ACDC released a snippet of their new song, Shot in the Dark. Shortly thereafter, the band's official website published a few photographs of several different posters displaying in different cities from different countries, such as Ashfield, in front of Angus Young's Ashfield Boys High School, Lille, London, and Dallas, featuring the writing Power/Up. On the 7th of October 2020, the band confirmed the upcoming release on November 13th, 2020 of their new studio album Power Up and released the first single taken from it, Shot in the Dark. The album's track listing was revealed on their website via a spinning promotional album. Angus Young also noted that the new album, as was Rock or Bust, is dedicated to Malcolm Young, much in the same way Back in Black was dedicated to Bon Scott. Brian is an avid supporter of Newcastle United FC and was asked to invest in the club in the early 1980s after being invited to meet the board by club legend Jackie Milburn. How does Brian Johnson make his millions? Brian Johnson has a net worth of $90 million. Johnson's earnings just from the Black Ice album are estimated to be $10.3 million. Except for the money he makes with music, Brian Johnson has been involved in a number of additional ventures, mostly in the entertainment industry. In 2004, he voiced a character in the video game Call of Duty Finest Hour. In 2005, he made a cameo appearance in the sports film Goal. In 2000, Brian published his autobiography, Rockers and Rollers. Johnson is also known for his love of vintage cars and racing. In 2006, he participated in the reality series The Race. Then in 2009, Brian recorded a strong time as the star in a reasonably priced car in Top Gear. 3 years later, in 2012, the musician competed in the 2012 Rolex 24 at Daytona. He has competed in a number of other racing events over the years. In 2014, Johnson started hosting Cars That Rock with Brian Johnson, a documentary series about iconic motor cars. How does Brian Johnson spend his millions? With the career Johnson has had, we know he has had enough money to spend like a rocker. We wanted to know how. Charity. In October 2014, he became a supporter of the Yorkshire Dementia Charity based in the village of Topcliffe. Then in 2019, Brian Johnson donated a $335,000 property to the All-Star Children's Foundation. When the charity sells the property, all proceeds will go towards helping children heal from child abuse trauma. Real estate. Firstly, let's remember that Johnson actually donated his $335,000 property to charity. We do not know where Johnson lives today, but we are under the impression that someone does not give away a $335,000 property without having somewhere else to live. Any property that is more valuable. Wherever it is, it's probably stunning and worthy of a rock and roll legend. Most of Johnson's money seems to go into cars. He has quite the collection. You ready? 1928 Bentley Van Pla. This is a unique car that Johnson refers to as Thunder Guts. It has a huge 4.5-liter engine, and according to Johnson, it oozes Britishness. These cars have a long history in the racing world of old, and it is said that they were a lot of brave people who tried to race them and passed away doing it. It took a fearless nature to race these cars in the 1930s with the engineering they had in those days. He seems to be a lover of unique cars that people don't always know about or have forgotten about. Jaguar F-Type Project 7. There were only 250 of these Jaguars made, and only 50 of them were slated to be sold in the United States. This car was named for the number of times that Jaguar was able to take the checkered flag at the historic 24 hours Le Mans endurance race. Johnson loves it because of the 575 horses under the hood and the 186 miles per hour top speed. With a 0 to 60 time of 3.5 seconds, you would be lucky to catch Johnson in this car when he lets this beast loose on the highway. 1965 Lola T70 Mark I. This baby colored beauty is one of the rarest cars in his collection. According to Motor1.com, there were only 15 of them made, and Brian Johnson owns a chassis number 15 of the set. This car is powered by a Ford-built V8 engine that kicks out an astonishing 640 horsepower. I sing rock and roll in a rock and roll band, he said in an interview with Motor1.com, but there's no music like this. Lola was an engineering company and race car builder that started in 1958. They were the company that partnered with Ford for the creation of the iconic GT40. Yes, the 24-hour Le Mans winner GT40. 1954 MGTF. The old and rare MGTF model was produced from 1953 to 1955. According to mgocspares.co.uk, the MGTF model is considered a stopgap car. These are cars that are made in order to continue the line without having to stop production. This model was sold so that the BMC could get enough time to refine and get the MGA approved for production. There were only about 9,600 of these cars made, and Brian Johnson has one. Bentley Continental GT Super Sports. As a Brit and lover of vehicles, a modern era Bentley definitely needed to be in the driveway. This is the kind of car that speed demons and UK car lovers alike would love to drive. This is why Johnson has one. TopSpeed.com reports that they can pump out an astonishing 700 horsepower from a 6-liter V12 motor and hit a top speed of 209 miles an hour. It does have a starting price of $300,000. Petty Garage Mustang GT. Most of the cars on this were produced in Europe. This was the first car that Johnson purchased that was built in the United States. This is one of 43 Speed Demon vehicles that were the spawn of a partnership between Ford and the Richard Petty Garage. The Ford company is known for partnering with some great minds through their history. This car has 627 horsepower and cost Johnson just over $92,000. Brian Johnson has enough money to buy what he needs to. He's described by people who meet him as the most down-to-earth gentleman you can imagine. Good for him. We'd love to meet him. We can't forget to mention the fabulous music he has produced with ACDC over the decades. I hope you enjoyed this video. Come back for more if you like what you see. With that, I bid you adieu until we meet again.